Sleep-related painful erections do not need to ruin your life. There is a way out of this condition, I believe most of the time. What I want to do in this video is I want to share with you some of the things that are lifestyle changes that if you make these changes along with adopting a certain supplement routine, I think that you will probably find relief. I do want to put the disclaimer in there, probably, because I know there are several different possible causes of this awful condition. But what I want to do is I want to explain this to you, so what you could do is you could try it out and just see, is this improving things for me? And I'm mainly going to outline an approach that is effective if the cause of this problem is ultimately having high histamine levels, which are induced from some kind of problem in the gut, some kind of gut infection, SIBO, or a bacterial invasion in your gut somewhere, or certain bacteria being in the wrong place where they shouldn't be, things like that. This, I think, is going to be a strategy that you could adopt and see, is this working for me? And if it is, it's a good indication that this is really what you're ultimately dealing with, and it is the cause of this problem. So first of all, let's start talking about some lifestyle changes. The first lifestyle change is learn about histamine intolerance. I'm going to give you a very incomplete list of things that you need to do and to understand to reduce your histamine levels. And just as I said that not all SRPE is caused by histamine, I said that in an earlier video, I don't want to say that all high levels of histamine are caused by one thing, such as the thing that I've dealt with, known as SIBO. There's a plethora of causes of high histamine levels, and also a plethora of causes of SIBO. So there's no way out of this without doing some research or working with somebody, working with a doctor who can help you understand this. And I know it can be hard to find a doctor who does understand this, but you're going to need to be an advocate for yourself, and you're going to need to research this and have some ammunition when you go to the doctor and say, look, this is the symptoms that match what I'm reading about here. I think this might be what I'm dealing with. I also want to connect you to some resources that I think will be helpful for you in trying to understand high histamine levels and to understand SIBO. I will put those in the description below. But first, very practical lifestyle change is eat dinner no later than 5 p.m. You need to go to bed on an empty stomach. Go to bed hungry if you have to. Just know this too, if that seems impossible. Two things that can help you psychologically with this. Number one, hunger comes in waves. The waves eventually die down, and after a while you don't feel hungry at all. And number two, be aware of the fact that if you stop eating at a certain time of day on a regular basis, after a while, you no longer get hungry at that time of day. So if you will stop eating, don't have anything after 5 p.m., no snacking, nothing. You give your digestive system a chance to complete the job, and all kinds of processes happen that are good processes when you do that I don't have time to go into the details of. Needless to say, you'll have a lot less inflammation in your body when you're going to sleep, and less inflammation invites less histamine. Overall, in fact, eat less food in general. Don't snack between meals. Eat one substantial meal for lunch, one substantial meal for dinner. If you have to eat breakfast, do that, but I recommend intermittent fasting. I recommend learning how to skip that meal so you're just eating less throughout the day, and you're giving your digestive system a break so that the healthy bacteria can flourish, and bad bacteria, they need to eat a lot. And the less you eat, the more of a break there is between meals, the more they starve off and die, and the healthier you're going to be overall. Another thing that is an important pointer is stop eating foods that cause a histamine release in your body. So if you have SIBO, you need to understand that a lot of the histamine that you're dealing with in your body come from either bacteria that are in your gut, or they come from your own body reacting to that bacteria, or both. So you want to starve that bacteria as much as possible. You don't want to encourage them to flourish. The more they're flourishing, the more they're producing histamine, and the more your body is producing histamine in reaction to it. I say that because there's a little bit of nuance and difference with how a lot of people who talk about histamine talk about how you deal with it. Because the first thing they say is, well, don't eat high histamine foods. And they're right. But often it's just way too simplistic. It's described, well, here's how you deal with high histamine levels. You stop eating meat that's been in the fridge for a couple days. Okay, that's true. You do want to stop that. You want to avoid those kinds of foods, generally speaking. But I've done that for long periods of time, and I didn't find any improvement in my symptoms. And I also avoided those things that they say cause a histamine release in your body because of they trigger some kind of reaction, such as citrus waters might trigger a reaction. If you put lemon in water and drink it, you might notice, oh, I get sniffles. And they say, well, that's a histamine reaction. That's bad. I'm going to tell you, trying lemon water might be one of the most important things you can do, because it's extremely helpful for me, especially if you have an episode at night. But I'll get to that in just a minute. Overall, the approach you want to take is just reduce inflammation in your gut. Something for you to consider is eating a carnivore diet, eating a diet that's all meat. It is probably the most powerful anti-inflammatory diet you can have. And the more you lower inflammation in your body, the less histamine you're going to be dealing with. Take care of your liver. That is another practical tip I want to give you. Anything that you drink that's hard on your liver, stop it for a season until you get your way worked out of this condition. If you're not going to go carnivore, then you really should consider eating a lot of salad without spinach. Spinach is high in histamine. But things like arugula, olive oil dressing, things that are just healthy for your gut and healthy for your liver. By the way, if you could put in the comments below what lifestyle changes have helped you as you've been dealing with this condition, if there is anything that has helped you. Is it avoiding eating late at night, or eating at a certain time of day, or not eating certain things? Or is there something that used to set you off and you'd have a terrible night and now you stay away from it and you found that to be consistent? It would be really helpful for other men to read those kinds of things and to consider implementing them in their own life. A couple more things in terms of tips and tricks. I find that I have to really minimize caffeine. I have caffeine a couple times a week. I have coffee a couple times a week, sometimes more. But I do find that if I eat somewhat poorly and I drink a lot of coffee, I am asking for trouble, and I'm probably going to have one episode at night. If I do none of those things, if I don't drink coffee, if I eat really well and I eat a minimal amount of food, I frequently don't eat any supplements at all. I'm totally fine. And that's new. That's real progress. But to me, it's an indication that I'm slowly getting to the place where I don't have this condition anymore. I think that is, I'm on track to be able to say that fairly soon. How soon? I don't know. But I know that it's not impacting my life virtually at all anymore. Another important tip, and I mentioned this earlier, try lemon water or lime water. Either one of those citrus fruits, sometimes it's called citrus waters, where you take either 2 lemons or 2 limes and you squeeze them into a large glass of water. And I did find there's some empirical evidence for what I'm about to tell you, because in a journal called Food Chemistry, among other benefits, it was found that citrus waters like this, they increase the amount of antioxidant enzymes. And this also boosts glutathione, which is an incredibly powerful detoxifier in the human body. So I like to drink a large cup of lemon water at least twice a day. And the polyphenols in lemon water, they're really beneficial to the good bacteria in your gut. So there's all kinds of reasons why I think this is something that you want to try. You might ask, well, what about those little lemon juice containers you can get in the grocery store? Can you use those? I have some success using those as long as they're not from concentrate. So I always keep some on hand. So if I don't have time to cut open a lemon and squeeze it, I can just grab some of that out of the fridge and squeeze it into some water. It is still effective. It is not as effective. But here in particular is what I have found to be really important with this. If I have an episode in the middle of the night and I have some lemon water beside my bed, and it's rather strong, I just need to drink some of that and it goes away. Usually in about 3 minutes. Sometimes it only takes like 30 seconds. So I really want to commend that to you to try that. And I'd really like to hear somebody in the comments who's willing to say whether it's worked for them or not. It works wonders for me so that I don't have to get up and walk around the house anymore and do what I got to do to make this episode of SRPE go away. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Those are just some of the recommendations, the most important recommendations for lifestyle changes that I think can really help you start to make progress in dealing with this condition. So if you found this video to be helpful, please like it so that other men who are struggling with this problem would be more likely to find it in their YouTube algorithm. And again, please leave a comment below, something that you think would be helpful for other men in the ways that I described earlier. And make sure to check back for another video soon, and I will see you then.